Political junkies have been following these primaries in the election year, but far more people are actually following what is continuing to be a banner period for culture, from debating Barbie at the Oscars to the juggernaut of the NFL experiencing its ongoing time of Taylor, one of the world's most popular singers, engaging a new fan base. Taylor could also make history this Sunday as the first artist to win a 4th Album of the Year award at the Grammys, one of 6 Grammy nominations she has this weekend. And while the fans have already spoken, we should note, more people listened to her music on streaming across the world than anyone else last year. And today's technology empowers incredibly wide instant access to music for free. The Spanish-language singer Bad Bunny is one of the other most streamed artists, even for many listeners who don't speak his language. There's actually a wider shift here. While great music has always touched people, today it has fundamentally broader reach than ever before. The Beatles' fastest-selling album, for example, moved about 500,000 records in its first week. The Beatles' most popular album ever, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, sold over 30 million records all time across decades. So tonight I ask you, how many plays did Taylor get, say, last year? Well, it was over 100 million. It was actually over 500 million. I could tell you it was over 1 billion. Indeed, it was over 10 billion. She did 26 billion streams in a year alone. But this is not old versus new. The same technology is bringing the same Beatles I mentioned to a whole new generation of listeners across the globe, from streaming their many classics to, as you may have heard, the release of a actual new Beatles song last year that tapped the original artist's music and voices, as well as AI enhancement. This is certainly an auspicious time for music, and streaming allows these young people to listen to classic artists that you or we might like, but in a different era, in a different time, they wouldn't have even been able to buy those albums because not all of them were always sitting on the shelves in the first place. So there's plenty of excitement as these Grammy Awards I mentioned arrive this Sunday, a night that has often made music history.
Come on, dance for me. I'm levitating. Just leave me alone.
What a big night, and we turn to the man in charge. Harvey Mason Jr. is CEO of the aforementioned Recording Academy, the man behind music's biggest night. You are very busy these days. Really happy to have you on the beat as we look towards the Grammys. How are you?
Thank you, Ari. I'm really, really happy. Excited to be on the beat. Love the name, The Beat. You've got some great highlights edited together there. Iconic moments, great performance. I'm back here nodding my head the whole time.
Yeah, right. And so many of those remind you of what was happening in the different moments of that year. That's what the night can be about. Let's start with what I mentioned, that people sometimes forget that while there are complexities, and in the news we cover the downsides and the problems with technology all the time, frankly, it is faster, easier, and cheaper for people around the world. A kid sitting in Africa or in the Caribbean or in Sweden to gather all this music and listen to it. How does that affect music and the Grammys?
Well, you said it. It is an auspicious time for music, and we're very excited both on the creative side and what we're able to make based on technology and advancements and the ability to create something incredible on a laptop or a computer. Also, the idea of being able to push out your music and have your fans and consumers be able to access it instantly. And you talked about the lack of borders and the global nature of music, listening to music from different languages, from different cultures, different continents. To me, it's an incredible time to be in this space, in music, as a consumer or a creator.
Yeah, there are different types of borders. The language and geographic country borders that divide so much of us in this world, you just mentioned it. It transcends. I love that Bad Bunny's doing so well. I love that Taylor's popular around the world, right? And then the boundaries of time are actually dissipating. So that's fascinating. I want to read from the rules you guys set as you look at AI. You said, okay, only human creators are eligible. Tells you the era we live in, that's a thing you have to say out loud. So songs you say can have AI or other tech. They can be included as part of the brew or the cooking, if you will. But there has to be, quote, proof that a real person meaningfully contributed to the song as well. That's how NPR describes your rules. And just I want to play someone known to you and our audience so well, Paul McCartney, discussing how John Lennon is gone. But they had the raw source material, and they were able to kind of bring some of that into a new Beatles song. Take a listen.
We were able to take John's voice and get it pure through this AI, so that then we could mix the record as you would normally do, you know. So it gives you some sort of leeway. So there's a good side to it, and then a scary side, and we'll just have to see where that leads.
Explain to us how you all look at this and how you hear from artists, because technology I mean, you could have Dylan going electric or Beatles going AI. Technology's always been in the mix to a certain extent.
It has, and creators are early adopters of technology. As you said, we've always done that since the advent of, you know, poking holes in a stick and blowing through it. But we are about creativity, and we're about human creativity. I don't think there's going to be a machine, software, hardware that can create or replicate what comes from the heart, what comes from the soul of human creators. What we do have to acknowledge, though, is AI has the power to do some really unique things. And I have so many thoughts on your Paul quote, but I'll stick to this. As long as we can figure out how to make sure creators are credited, they're protected with the ability to approve the use, and they're remunerated fairly and properly, I think AI can be something that we can all be excited about. In not having that, I'm petrified and I'm terrified that it's going to run away with us. Because, for example, with Paul's example, having John's voice recreated by AI, where someone can do whatever they wanted with it, is not acceptable. But in Paul's case, using AI to clean the sound of the voice or remove other elements or extraneous noises, that's beneficial and can amplify the creativity. So there's a lot of ambiguity there. There's a lot of different levels and nuance to how AI can be used. As long as we get it straight, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, so let me build on that question. You're sort of telling viewers and reminding everyone about how that was used, and it was in concert with his original band. So whatever debates they've ever had over the years, there's a credibility to that process. And you're mentioning something else that's happening, which is there's the ability now to take someone's voice and treat it like an instrument, to take a Sinatra or a Tupac, and some of those are sort of bootleg or unauthorized. Where do you think that line is, especially for artists who may be long gone, or even their families might not know how to answer the question of which thing would they want to be sort of pasted onto like Velveeta, when for many of us music means something more than that?
We have to recognize it's going to happen, Ari. Unfortunately, this is not going to change. It's not going anywhere. The technology is not going away. The question is going to be who wants to participate, who wants to be involved in that, whether that's an artist or their estate. And I think there'll be some really unique and creative things that come out of this technology and the use of AI. And it will extend the careers of people, potentially translate songs into other languages. Estates can hear from their artists for a lot longer in new creative ways. So a lot of possibility, but got a few things to straighten out first.
Yeah. And finally, what is the most fun or the most daunting for you going into this year? I mean, one of the things I always remind people at the Grammys, and I'm not just saying that because this is the beat and we love music, is the Oscars are interesting, but they don't make or perform any movies that night. You guys are putting on an incredibly large concert in addition to an awards show, and that's just fundamentally different because of the nature of the art. So what's fun or daunting as you go into the big night and concert?
It's all daunting because you're dealing with the biggest and the best and the brightest artists and creators and songwriters in the world, getting them all into LA and getting them organized enough to have a celebration. But what's exciting about it is the gathering of people, the gathering of all different genres, different genders, beliefs, backgrounds, geographies, and coming together to celebrate music and the excellence of music and the power of music. You know, we give away the awards. We're excited about the Grammys. We love the trophies and celebration. But for me, I'm really passionate about the work that we do at the Academy. 365 days a year, we take this money, we take the visibility from the show, we push it out in the way of serving the music community, because Ari, and you can appreciate this, we need music more now than ever. The healing power, the unifying power of music. What music can do is magic, and we need it. We need to make sure creators are enabled and protected and have the thriving space to do what they do.